Michael Jackson, Beyonce, David Bowie, Lady Gaga, The Weeknd.
Let me catch you looking at her again. Let me catch you looking at her again. Let me catch you looking at her again.
There's a long history of famous musicians making the jump to the silver screen, whether it's because of a lifelong love of film, chasing that EGOT, or just a good old-fashioned vanity project. And the latest artist to follow that legacy is none other than off-brand lord herself, the number one angel, queen of Brat Summer, a movement so powerful it may have cost the Democratic Party the 2024 election. That's right, it's Charli, baby.
It's Charli, baby.
Charli XCX released a movie earlier this year to cap off the Brat era, and it kind of flopped. So now we must ask the question, was it actually good? Now, I'm a longtime fan of Charli XCX ever since I heard the Vroom Vroom EP all those years ago. I was there when Pop 2 dropped. I was there when Charli dropped. I was there when How I'm Feeling Now dropped. Crash. And I really enjoyed Brat when it came out. Maybe my favorite project of hers. No skips. But Brat was different for Charli XCX. And to find out why, we gotta dig into the history. If I remember right, she got her start performing at like Essex dance clubs and raves when she was a teenager or something. And she didn't hit the mainstream until her big breakout hit, Boom Clap. Then she had another hit featured on Igloo Australia's song Fancy. Fancy was everywhere. They had a Clueless inspired music video. But after those hits, Charli kind of dropped out of the mainstream. She settled into her niche with her dedicated fan base and focused on developing her craft for the next decade. Her evolution really accelerated when she hooked up with the PC Music Crew, a label that many point to as the birthplace of hyperpop, which was a influential music subgenre known for combining sugary pop with harsher synths and chipmunked vocals. There she met longtime contributors Sophie, R.I.P., and A.G. Cook, among others. And it's these connections, plus Charli's decade of history as a cult icon, that are a part of what made Brat so special. So with Brat, Charli XCX is finally back in the mainstream, and her internet culture fluency and bold marketing strategy paid off. But it's a strange time in music history and pop culture. Everything is so meta. Not only are the music fans more into the intricacies of the industry than ever, with the charts talk and the sales talk and the memes and everything, they make commentary about everything too. They make commentary of a moment surrounding the discourse, making grand statements of what a time in history means as it happens, as if it's already 10 years into the future. I mean, Brat is meta. It's memeable. That's part of the reason why people liked it. So you would think her new movie, The Moment, would be perfect for capping off the Brat era. The Moment is a mockumentary about Charli XCX planning a Brat concert movie for Amazon. A premise rich with potential for commentary and satire. So does The Moment meet the moment? The answer is no. This movie is boring. It's not a Spinal Tap or Mel Brooks style parody. It's a dry British comedy, like the British episodes of The Office, or The Thick of It. But instead of being written by comedians, it's being written by some mid-30s Stan Twitter reject whose brain has been fried by Coke and poppers, I guess. The only one in this cast even capable of performing that kind of subtle humor is Miss Kate Berlin. Not that Charli and the others are bad per se, it's just that due to the nature of this style of comedy, they really just are there. The comedy is so dry, I had joke with a question mark written several times in my notes. I couldn't tell if they were even trying to be funny most of the time. Just imagine one of these stereotypical, boring A24 movies that your letterboxd friend tells you is so good, but it just wastes your time with a bunch of washed out cinematic shots of B-roll and drawn out realistic dialogue scenes between a bunch of dullards. Look how blurry this shot is, dude. It really makes you feel like you're a stalker looking through Charli XCX's windows. Imagine an A24 movie, but they're trying to make bone-dry British comedy this time. There are like 3 identifiable bits in this movie. The rest are just, ooh, I'm slightly irritated, over and over again. Then there's the plot. It's the classic tale of a real artist being bogged down by the clueless suits. They want to take advantage of the moment. They want to sand off the edges of the brand. They want to make Brat generic. They want to monetize. Oh, I'm shaking my fist at the sky. Late stage capitalism. Wasn't one of the themes of Brat that Charli feels like she should be more famous? She saw her peers get more recognition and was like, it should have been me. But she just learns to accept her lot in life and her place in the culture. Oh, holy cope. That's how she related to a bunch of young millennials and older Gen Z with burnout and imposter syndrome. Seems like she finally got what she wanted and she just couldn't handle it. I don't know if I buy it. Presidential candidate acknowledgement aside, did anyone outside of the target audience really care that much? One Discord cycle and a couple of viral TikTok songs and she's ready to tap out? This whole thing seems a little performative to me. Anyways, the movie starts off with Charli dancing around while the epileptic title credits flash on screen. That's just part of the Brat brand, you know, like a sexy Gaspar Noé. Then you get the Brat cultural impact montage. Jump scare! Smash cut to reality. We see the girl behind the glamour, jet lagged in the airport looking sloppy. Sidebar, I'll be roasting her throughout, but I'm not going to pretend like I haven't been crushing on her since she rolled up in a lavender Lamborghini wearing a blue bikini all those years ago. Back to the review. The point is the contrast, though. Charli's a real raw artist. You can practically smell that real raw artist stench wafting off of her. Charli XCX doesn't micromanage her image. She's in comfy mode for most of this movie.
Oh, look how different you look there.
You know they want you, the viewer, to notice the difference between her dolled up look for her commercials, interviews, and performances, and the regular, unglamorous Charli. And from the first scene, we already see how tired Charli is with the corporate appropriation of Brat. She just wants to do her tour and move on to the next era. In the next scene, we see some music industry flunkies talking to the executive from Charli's music label. They say, low genuinely, Brat Summer should last like forever because we like love money, dude. And the exec says, we need to capitalize on the Brat phenomenon in order to generate revenue for our shareholders. Let's hire a director and make a concert film. Then the exec sends in this pretentious nice guy director named Johannes so he can butt heads with Charli's creative director Celeste for the rest of the movie. Johannes is one of the 3 identifiable characters in this movie. Not that that's saying much. Charli's assistant is nothing. The music industry guys are nothing. Celeste is also nothing. Which isn't good because the emotional arc of the movie is built around her and Charli's relationship. Not that Johannes' stick doesn't get old by the end of the movie, by the way. But he did have a couple of good moments.
You're under a fucking contract.
I cannot be associated with a communist.
Yeah.
As long as we're talking acting, Charli does a good job as herself. I mean, her performance didn't break my immersion, not that it's a very demanding role. Not sure if I was completely buying it when she got to the extremes, but she was pretty good at the awkward looks, so she's passable. And like I said, Kate Berlant is mildly amusing as Charli's chatty makeup artist. The difference between a real comedian and these other schlubs is readily apparent. Props to Kate.
Tell me they're not drinking water again. 2 cups a day maximum. I'm not kidding.
But that's enough setup. Let's get into the top moments of the moment. top moments in the moment of top moments of the top. The corporate co-op of Brat is exemplified in one of the main plot threads of the movie, the Brat credit card. Wait a second. A Brat credit card? They gave her a Brat credit card? They had the balls to give one of the greatest cult pop icons of all time a Brat credit card?
No! No! Does not compute! Does not compute! It does not compute! I think so!
I apologize for that outburst. I genuinely thought it was a funny bit. It could have gone way harder with the satire. Imagine if they had Charli promoting extremely predatory payday loans or something. I especially like the jokes about how Charli's fans are all queer and they're like, they get a discount if they're queer, and Charli says, how do you know that? And the guy's like, yeah, you can tell.
I'm sure I speak for the both of us when I say,
Making credit cards for Charli's fans is a bad idea anyway. No way you're getting that money back. I also liked when, after their rehearsal, Charli tries to decompress from all the stress at work and her interviews, and she's watching one of her interviews on TV, and she's on Colbert, and she's just stepping over all of his jokes.
All right, have you ever snorted a rail of pumpkin spice?
You know what? As of yet, I have not.
She's just rude. She's like, Colbert, you're being kind of weird. Stav's ex-girlfriend Rachel Dolezal shows up for a forgettable cameo. Isn't she supposed to be a comedic actress?
What? It's a leg. I'm addicted to drugs. We all are.
She and Charli have a realistic conversation, and then they party together. I've been hearing about the Charli XCX parties for years. You would think they'd have a little bit more grandeur on the big screen. This just looks like a bunch of grubby people shuffling around on drugs. And big props to Charli's meltdown that she had from trying to deal with Johannes and Celeste and all the press and aging, war and death and taxes.
Because everybody's so desperate for me to be fucking innovative all the time and fucking cool. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Well, I don't fucking know what I fucking want, Tim.
Is Charli XCX written by freaking Vivzy Pop? The best scene by far is when Charli's in Ibiza, and it's right after she gets kicked out of a new age healing room for having bad vibes. Then she's walking down the hallway, and she just gets brutally mogged by Kylie Jenner.
Yeah. You look so good.
She said I was dry.
No. I mean, like, inside.
He's like the perfect celeb that Charli's been insecure about measuring up to the whole Brat era. He's taller, she has a big set of gravity-defying bolt-ons just busting out of her robe. Her hair's beautiful. Her face is perfectly symmetrical and glowing. And she's talking about her project and her kids.
I'm sure you know how it is. You must be so busy.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm not a mother, so.
They use these unflattering close-ups of Charli, too. This is the closest they come to that dry British charm. It's a crazy scene. Right after this, she has a meltdown and destroys the credit card deal. Understandable. The final big sequence is okay, too. Johannes shows Charli his sanitized Brat production. They got a censored BITC pound sign, the sign, and a big giant sparkly lighter. For crack, I assumed. And Charli looks like a goofy goober hanging from the ceiling like that.
Brat Summer. Forever. Brat Summer. Forever!
Then Charli gets canceled for a credit card scam, and we get a controversy montage.
Rise my Brat score from a 10 to a 3.
Anthony Fantano's acting. It's not good.
Howard Sterling was in an extremely insecure place, and their attempts to capitalize on a young, vulnerable market clearly backfired.
Wait a second. Did they just firebomb a bank? What's going on? In the end, Charli gives a big speech apologizing to Celeste. Then she just decides to do the corny version of Brat to get the the tour over with. And then we end on a montage of the Amazon Music Brat concert with Bittersweet Symphony playing over it. Wow, the musician didn't even end her movie with her own songs, one of her own songs? How subversive. Now let's go to the final thoughts. You know, as nice as it is to see Charli on the big screen, the moment just ain't a film worth watching if you're not a big fan already. This is such a snoozer, you could tune out the best jokes if you tried to just have this on in the background while you paint your toenails or something. But lucky for us, the XCX at the movies era is not over. Charli has some roles coming up in other indie movies coming out soon. I respect that she's trying to hone her craft on the indies instead of just going with the corny celebrity cameos for her movie era. The moment may not be that good, but her target audience on Letterboxd liked it, so what do I know? Anyways, I'm Film Brother. It's Film Brother, baby. Like, comment, and subscribe. Bye. The Democrats really decided to make their branding for the internet branch of their campaign to be revolve around some trend from some millennial pop star, like third tier pop star who's British, by the way. A British person's endorsement about being Brat? What does that even mean? This is the Democrats. Historically, they do very good with young people, but they still decided they needed to go out of their way to try to whip up the youth or whatever, as if that was a demographic that they needed to please. Why did they do that? And why did that British person, why did Charli say that? Why? Why? Living in Lala. They had 130 days for the campaign, like a historically small amount. They just were humiliated with Joe Biden being senile, and this is the kind of campaign they decide to run? Make it make sense. Make it make sense.